Hey FaerieQuesters, welcome back. I thought I would share with you something kind of special. What you're looking at on the screen is a rock that commemorates a county park called Three Bridges. And my husband John and I went there just day before yesterday for the purpose of finding some river stone for some of the fairy bonsai projects. Unfortunately, when we got there, we made it to the river, but basically just barely before having, 5 quarts of blood pulled out of our body from all the mosquitoes that were there. So I only ended up getting 3 pictures. These pictures that you're seeing right now were taken several years ago. Not a lot has changed. I just wanted to share with you what Three Bridges Park is all about and then show you the 3 pictures that I took. So anyway, this is the rock that greets you when you come into the park. And the reason that it's called Three Bridges, I will show you those 3 bridges. So the first one is a very old bridge. Now, this one you can still walk across, but it is getting quite rickety, and it's, I believe, the oldest bridge in this park. And obviously you can't very well go under it, but you can go over it, and there might have been more to it than this at one point in time. So that's the first bridge. The second bridge is a railroad bridge. That's actually the first bridge that you can see when there's trees, because where you park is where this bridge is. So what you actually see when you pull up is like this. So you can actually walk across this bridge, but as you can see here, it has a fence at the end. You really can't go any further, and you can see that it goes over the river. So then the last bridge, you need to take stairs, and this is just one set of stairs leading. I believe I took pictures of 3 of them, but I only grabbed 1 to show you so you'd have an idea. It's quite a climb to that 3rd bridge, which is right here. Underneath of this one, on either side, is a deep ravine. There's no water in it. The river actually runs along this way, and this ravine runs this way. So this is quite the rickety wooden bridge, and they've made sure that nobody will fall on this bridge. And they do say that there is a child that haunts this bridge that grabs people's ankles when they go across. I don't know if that's factual or not. I never had anyone grab my ankles as I went across. So down by the river is where John and I managed to go, and I've taken pictures of this tree before, but the pictures that I took this time were very hurried because I wanted to actually look for stone, and I think we actually got 4 stones. That was it. And then I also took a moment to take the pictures. This is, for me anyway, the most magnificent root system I have ever seen on a tree, ever. It is flat. You can tell that it has really been washed over by the river at times. These roots are like flat, almost. And it's just a huge root system. And if I'd have backed up, you would have gotten more of an image of these. But as it stood, like I said, I didn't take a whole lot of time to be real careful about how I was taking the picture. This tree here, there's really nothing remarkable about it other than that root system is incredible. So another photo of this tree from a different angle before we took off. Now this, as you can see, the river is here, though it's awfully white. Here is all that flat root system. So this is like almost like the side back of the tree. And again, you know, we've got big roots, but there's nothing super amazing about that tree other than those roots. They're insanely amazing. So the last picture I want to show you here is this one. So this is behind the tree. The second picture I believe was taken over here. And so this is the back of the tree, so you can see what is literally behind it. So that is what we have to see. And I thought maybe it would be kind of fun to go through these pictures one at a time. I have not done that yet. So we can start with this one and then move on to this one and move on to this one, if you'd like to do that. I will begin with this picture here. Okay, so currently this picture is at 50%, as we can see up here. And to go through these photos, I always bring them up to 200%, which means we need to go through them a little at a time here. So we are going to start as I always do. And this could take a little while, so a little patience, and we'll see what we can see here. And right away, I see a face right here. Now I'm not going to be marking all these in this photo as I normally would. That takes a lot of time, and it really does take a long time to upload these videos with my internet service. So anyway, here is a picture. If you can see the eye and the eye closed, both of them. Little tuft of hair here. There's the little round nose. Here's the mouth. It looks like he might have something in his mouth. And we've got the chin and kind of the jawline here. Not really making out a whole lot of the body. It looks as though he saw us coming and decided to morph into part of the root here. Then we have here a very, very small, chunky little guy, very large head with a little gray hat. I think I will grab the pointer instead. Okay, so anyway, little gray hat. Here's the face. Right here's a chin, mouth, nose, eye, ears over here, little tuft of hair. Here's the body. Looks like he's got his hands behind his back. And here's a leg or belly, but the leg and the feet. So he's an interesting looking character. And here we have a very cranky looking character who is wearing a interesting pointed hat, hood, and this one has an outfit that goes down. We can see this part of it, but it goes down, clear down to here, like almost like a trench coat. But he's looking at us with a very scowly look. We have an eye here, a nose, and a mouth. He looks a little angry with us at the moment. Not that I meant to spy on them. I just love to take the picture of such an amazing place. Okay, so looks like that was quite a number of them in that little area there. So we're going to move on over. And isn't it amazing when you see them? It's really difficult to unsee them. Look at that. Okay, so I'm hoping you can see them as clearly as I can. I'll try not to do ones that are super questionable as to whether or not you would be able to see them or not. Okay, so we're getting into the actual root, but that doesn't mean there can't be a fairy on there. And keep in mind, again, when I say fairy, I'm talking all manner of species. So it could be a troll, it could be a fairy, like a Tinkerbell type fairy, could be a gremlin, could be, gosh, there's so many. And I've drawn a blank at the moment. So, but you get the gist of what I mean. So fairy covers a lot of different species, and I suppose I could just call them fae, and that would, cover quite a bit as well. So if we're going through, I'm not seeing anything to really bring to your attention here. I do occasionally see creatures that sometimes you can't help but make comment to. Now I'm going to show you something very interesting here that I'm noticing in this picture. And the first thing is this creature here. Okay, I'm seeing a head right here. Here is a big cheek on this, and it comes down like this to the mouth. There's a nostril, and here is an eye, top of the head. Okay, so we can see that very interesting creature, what looks like a creature. Now, sitting next to this creature, there appears to be a fae, a fairy. We can see, I don't know if this is a hat, perhaps. Here's the face. Kind of an odd shape here. But I think the hat actually goes up here. But that's another thing too. Anyway, so we have the eye, we have a nose. We can't really see the mouth. And here is part of the body. Here is a leg, only we have a knee here. So the knee is bent, almost like this little one is sitting cross-legged. But again, next to what I do believe is a creature, so probably a friend. Okay, and then if you look up here, this piece of rock is like leaning, and if this is not the hat, then it almost looks like a reflection although we know it's not, but it looks like a reflection, like a mirror reflection of a creature that would be similar to this one, with the eye and kind of the interesting nose. So anyway, food for thought there. Now over here, and this might be a little bit difficult to see as well, but sometimes the fae tend to have a bit of an invisible quality to them. So here, and this is probably going to be a little bit difficult to see, kind of like this one here. She is a little bit on the invisible side. Over here, we've got a bit more. So we have a bonnet here, right here. Here's the rim of the bonnet. And we have the face underneath the bonnet. We have like a shawl, and we have the long dress. Excuse that, that was my chihuahua snoring. So we have the long dress here. So here we have that individual. Over here, we have a child. Okay, the child is actually looking downward this way. So we can see some hair. It looks like she's got kind of a fancy hat on for such a little thing. but there is an eye, there is an eye, there is a nose, and then we can see her face curves like this. And we can see something of an outfit, but I can't really make it out. I'm thinking that this is an arm and a hand right there. Okay, so that is an almost invisible little girl. Okay, so if we move on, we're going to come up to this guy here. There's actually quite a few in this one. So I hope that perhaps you'll take the time yourself to kind of go through it. As, you know, obviously you can't move the picture like I can, but we're on a certain portion of a picture for quite a while here. So anyway, we have this guy here. Now, he's laughing at something. But here's the top of his head. And I don't think that this would be a hat. I could be wrong. But here, at any rate, here's the top of his head. We can see his pointed ear. And then we see even eyebrows with this guy right there. Eyebrows, an eye, a nose. He's got a very pointed chin here, and he's smiling or laughing here. I believe this is an arm, and he looks like he's got his legs crossed, what we can see of them. But he looks like quite the jovial fellow. All right, so there's a few other ones in here, but they're not as clear, I'm afraid, for like video. So we will move a little to the right here and see what we can see. Still can't believe how amazing and such neat little places for fairies to live if they would choose. A lot of places to tuck into here. And what a beautiful place to live. Easy enough for them to relocate, I would think, when the river rises, but we haven't had a whole lot of rain, so don't think they have to worry right now. All right, so that's the first tier of this picture. So we're going to move our way up. Okay, found a spot, moving up. All right, here we go. Now, first thing that stands out here for me is right here. Now, this one looks like he's found something that he's kind of like, oh my gosh, look what I've got. I've got to hang on to it. I don't want anybody else to see it, that kind of vibe that I get from this one. Here's his hat. Okay. And he's got a rather large nose. Here's an eye. Mouth we can see. Here's his body. Here's an arm. And we can see, like, I'm going to say part of the butt and the knee, and then here is a foot. So he's kind of on his knees, leaning forward, and he's got this, whatever this is. So yeah, he's pretty enthusiastic over that, whatever that is that he has. Then we can move up here. Oh, okay. Here we have a girl, I believe a girl. She has some very interesting hair here, right here. We can see the shape of her face. She is looking down at her hand here. So here's an arm, here's her hand, okay? And here's an eye. One eye is almost under the hair that comes down this way. And we can see a nose. And then there is a little one sitting here also. This one has kind of, well, the rounder head. Can't tell male or female, but anyway, very large eyes. kind of slicked back hair, a nose, a mouth, and we can see kind of a body here, and we can also see feet dangling. Right here, leg, leg, foot, and foot. Okay? And then moving to the right, we have a guy here. Now we can see the whites of his eye, but he's looking at these two over here. He's also resting his arm here. He has his head turned. Here's his mouth. Here's his nose. Here's one eye. And hair. I can't really tell the hair. He's got a very green face at the moment because blending in. And next to this one is a little one right here. We can see her hair, one eye, little nose, little mouth, and her hand is like right here. I can't really tell if there's more of her body there or not, but she's so cute. Okay, so that was quite a lot in one small area here. So let us see if there's anything else. Moving over. Okay, there's two that I see here. Here's one of them. And he really tried to blend in. We have a big beard here. We have a mustache, an eye, hair. That's all I can really see of him. His lower lip. Okay, but he tried to turn himself green and really blend in there. The other one is over here, right here. She is kind of cranky looking to me anyway, but here's an eye, here's an eye. She's kind of wearing a interesting hat, unless that's her hair, but I don't know for sure. And we have a sleeve, we have an arm down to the hand. Here's the arm. Here is the dress she's wearing. Not sure what kind of position she's in, unless she's on her back and you know her belly is up and her feet would be somewhere in here, or sitting on her feet. I can't really tell. So anyway, she's an interesting looking little fairy. And it looks like we might have a little one hiding, squished right here. We can see a shoe. See the shoe? And then the little hat is right here. A hand right here. Body tucked in there somehow. And an eye and an eye. And we can't really see the facial features real well, but there he is. Okay. Keep them moving along here. Yeah, it is really amazing how many live in one location. And, you know, as far as I know, they get along just fine. Doesn't matter what species of fae they are. They seem to get along just fine. When I've communicated, I have never, ever heard them say anything against another fae. They just kind of all work together and they complement one another in the things that they do in the wooded areas where they are. So I'm not really finding any more in this particular picture. There may be. Again, this is one of those things that, you know, these pictures need to be gone through more than once. But for the purpose of the video, one time is going to have to do, but eventually I will take the time to actually mark these. And so we are on the last leg of the picture, and I don't make a habit of lightening up anything. I could with Photoshop, but I prefer not to. I figure anything that is in the dark, if I can see something and it's worth mentioning, I will. If not, then it stays in the dark. So let's see here. And I'm sorry, I'm sure you can probably hear my Chihuahua snoring. He's exhausted. He's not that old, but he sure can snore. Okay, he's at my feet right now, so he's not very far from the microphone. All right, so I need to pull this down just a titch. All right, I just wanted to see, almost look like a face there, but not. And almost over to the end here. And a lot of times the Fae are so good at hiding in plain sight. That's why a lot of people have a hard time seeing them, and they think that, you know, oh wow, you're imagining all these, or it's pareidolia, or, you know, and I suppose for some that is probably true, but after a while you kind of get a feel for looking for them. And right here is like a little elf. Here's his little pointy hat. You can see one ear. You can see his little beard, an eye, a nose. Can't really tell. I'm assuming his body is behind the leaf. He's not very big, so he would be interesting to see. If I take this down to the 100% that it normally would be when I circle something, I really have to pay attention to where he is. So I know he's above this right here, because it's so easy to lose your place if you don't have some kind of a landmark, something to look at. And so he is right here. So he's quite tiny, just like the little guy that had crammed himself in. He's pretty tiny too. All of them are quite tiny, actually. So there are a few in here, but they're a little bit too hard to see for me to really point them out to you. So I'm going to make sure I went all the way over to the edge here on the picture. I believe I did. Yes, I did. Almost looks like there's a guy up here with a hat on. It may just be the top of a tree, but can't really tell. The picture's not quite clear enough. So that would be it for this picture. I would, again, go through it more than once, but I thought you might enjoy finding these with me. So I will take you through the other two photographs either in one video or two separate videos. It just depends on how long it takes for me to go through a singular video. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and will tune in for the next two. It might take me a little bit of time to get them done, but I will get them done. Thank you for joining me, and enjoy looking for the Fae. I think it's a lot of fun. Take care.